the early 14th century, the Ottomans were a semi-nomadic Turkic tribe living in the Anatolian Peninsula, like many others. The name of their leader, Osmond, first appears in historical sources in the description of the Battle of Pavia in 1301, in which he defeated the Byzantines. His most significant gain was that his principality finally became an independent political entity. They continued their fight against the Byzantine Empire and even annexed some neighbouring Gulf emirates. His victories earned him widespread fame, and his name spread widely, attracting nomadic warriors from across the peninsula. Osman died in 1324, having greatly expanded his territory, ensuring strong fortifications around his lands. His son, Orhan, succeeded him. He continued his conquest of the region by annexing the lands of his main rival, the Karakardians. The Ottomans gained access to seaports and an ideal launching pad for an invasion of continental Europe. The Byzantine emperor signed treaties with the Ottomans, promising to defend him if necessary. Thus he seized a wooden fort on the Gallipoli Peninsula after defeating a Serbian-Bulgarian army advancing toward Constantinople. The emperor granted them the fort, but the emperor was weak, and 2 years later the Ottomans seized the entire peninsula without any consequences. By then, Orhan had died and was succeeded by his son, Murad I. Over the next 3 decades, these Turks rapidly expanded into the European Balkans. In the 1360s, they captured Adrianople, renamed it Edirne, and made it their capital. Its strategic location facilitated their expansion into the Balkans, and they captured Philippi in 1363, isolating the Bulgarians from Byzantium. The Byzantine emperor could only watch as the Ottomans besieged and isolated his city to maintain his position. He recognized Murad firm's suzerainty, reducing him to a mere Ottoman vassal on his western border. The Ottomans met the remnants of the Serbian Empire in 1355. Their ruler, Emperor Stefan Duchamp, died, leaving behind decades of internal turmoil. Despite these disturbances, the Serbs were wary of the expansion of the Ottoman Empire. In 1371, up to 60,000 troops, led by the Serbian king, marched on Edirne. Sultan Murad's forces ambushed the Crusader army at Edirne, killing and drowning thousands on the ensuing route. This endeavour ended in disaster, and is referred to in Ottoman records as the extermination of the Serbs. This strengthened the Ottoman position in the Balkans, and Murad realized that maintaining the administrative infrastructure of the province spared him the trouble of establishing a new system. He granted several governors the right to administer their existing lands, as long as they became Ottoman vassals, and they were obligated to provide him with soldiers in times of war. In return, Murad paid tribute and taxes, and agreed not to fight them. Using this tactic, Murad rallied the smaller Balkan rulers against the large northern army sent to try to expel the Ottomans. In 1371 he began his campaign in Macedonia, capturing Deir in 1382. 3 years later he captured Sofia and forced the Bulgarian Tsar to accept Ottoman suzerainty. The new Byzantine emperor had to renew his naval ties or face a blockade. A few years earlier the Ottomans had lost the Gallipoli Peninsula in the Civil Crusade. The emperor had no choice but to sacrifice the peninsula to the Ottomans, to prevent a moral war focused primarily on consolidating his own position. After subjugating the Bulgarian lands, he captured the Serbian city of Niš and the Venetian city of Thessaloniki. Lazar, among the feudal lords forced to accept Ottoman suzerainty, was the most powerful state in the disintegrating Serbian Empire, Moravian Serbia. he must have been anxious at the time. The Ottomans captured Sofia, and the capture of Niš and the remnants of Serbian feudalism only slightly enhanced his sense of security. In 1386 he mobilized an army of Serbs, Bosnians, Albanians and Wallachians and defeated the local Ottoman commander, Lala Shahin Pasha, at Pločnik, achieving several minor victories and defeating additional Wallachians, Bulgarians and Albanians. The Hungarians joined Lazar's army to resist the Ottoman yoke. In response, Murad isolated Bulgaria from the League of Nations. He diligently prepared for his campaign, concluding peace treaties with Venice in Genoa. He then began his epic march toward Lazar's army as it made its way through the Balkans. Many feudal lords joined him, either voluntarily or under pressure. He managed to muster up to 40,000 troops. Both sides used scouts. As they approached Kosovo, Lazar and Murad prepared for the inevitable battle at dawn on June 15, 1389. Lazar positioned his forces on the northern bank of the Labe River, about 3 miles northwest of Pristina, commanding no more than 15,000 to 20,000 troops, including at best a few thousand cavalry, and his army was significantly outnumbered. Lazar planned to use the Labe River as a defensive line. Lazar himself commanded the main Serbian contingent on his right. Vuk Branković led the rest of the Serbs, and to his left Bosnian Grand Duke Vladiković commanded most of the Bosnian forces. The central front lines were manned by Serbian heavy cavalry, supported on the flanks by lighter cavalry units equipped with bows and arrows. Behind the cavalry stood Lazar's infantry. Both flanks numbered no more than 7,000 men. Some records indicate the use of several artillery pieces aligned between Lazar Branković and Vuković. Meanwhile, Murad commanded at least twice that number, up to 9,000 soldiers. Reconquista records reveal that his army, including his mercenaries, was far better equipped than the Serbs. His army reached Pristina on June 14th, where he mobilized and prepared for battle, encamping part of his army south of the cleft of the Sednica River. This included elite Janissary units and European soldiers. Alburi commanded the centre of his army. With the majority of the Janissaries in front of him, he commanded the right wing, which consisted mainly of Anatolian cavalry, while his eldest son, Jakub, commanded the left wing, which consisted of another cavalry division. Both wings were supported by approximately 1,000 archers. Historical records provide differing accounts of the battle. The battle began either with a barrage of Ottoman archers on Branković's cavalry, or with a Serbian artillery attack that missed clear targets. Branković's cavalry now formed a large wedge formation and attacked Jakub's left flank. They managed to repel the Ottoman cavalry, inflicting heavy damage. Meanwhile, Lazar and Vuković launched their attacks, realizing the Serbian momentum on the left flank. The mulatto, Bezat, ordered a counterattack on the right flank. Bosnian Vuković engaged Beza's light cavalry in fierce, close combat, but while Branković's flank held its own against the Ottomans, both Lazar and Vuković struggled against the light cavalry and light infantry. The Janissaries, led by moonlight and supported by cavalry, charged toward the Serbian infantry vanguard, realizing their numerical superiority. Part of the main Serbian infantry withdrew to their left, leaving Prince Lazar exposed. Vuković inflicted heavy damage with his attacks, but when the Ottomans launched a powerful counterattack, they repulsed the Bosnians, who pushed toward the centre, where Lazar's infantry held out with great difficulty against Mola's army. Meanwhile, the tide turned against the Serbian cavalry, and the Ottomans managed to take control of the situation and drive back the heavy cavalry. The heavy cavalry battle continued throughout the day, but slowly but surely Branković's wing pushed toward the Sednica River, leaving Lazar's centre completely exposed to Jakub's wing at a crucial moment in the battle. Vukovic's Bosnians withdrew from the battlefield completely. There's a clear reason for this, but it's likely that he assumed the battle was lost and wanted to preserve as many of his soldiers as possible. It's likely that during his retreat, Lazar was captured by Ottoman janissaries who finally broke through the Serbian central lines. However, his uncle's fierce forces also withdrew from the battlefield after seeing the central lines breached. Although Murad's elite guard protected him, he was killed either during the battle or immediately afterward. Either the Serb Miloš Obilić feigned treason to approach him and then stabbed him, or he feigned death on the battlefield and fell to the ground when he inspected it. The Sultan died, so he was forced to do so, and was immediately killed by his bodyguards. After Murad's death, he took command of the army and led the Ottomans to victory. Not many Serbs and Bosnians remained, but with the departure of Branković and Vuković, it wasn't long before the last of the soldiers withdrew from the battlefield after Murad's death. Pasha prevented any further claim to the latter throne by immediately strangling his brother Jacob in revenge for his father's death. Prince Lazar was executed. He returned to Edirne to be crowned Sultan. There were no subsequent campaigns, but the losses were disastrous for the Serbs. Although Vuković initially reported that Serbian losses were minor, it later became clear that Lazar had fallen and the Serbs had suffered a severe blow. Pasha installed Lazar's son, Stephen Lazarević, on the throne as a loyal vassal. Furthermore, he secured his loyalty by marrying Lazar's daughter. Serbia was not fully annexed to the Ottomans for another 70 years.